Shalom, my friends. Welcome to this week's Word Study. Today we're going to talk about what it means to love the world and what the word means when it talks about the world. In 1 John chapter 2, verse 15, we read, "Do not love the world or the things that are in it. For whoever loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him, and the love for the Father is not in him." It goes on in verse 16, "For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the craving for sensual gratification, the lust of the eyes, the greedy longings of the mind's imaginations, and the pride of assurance in one's own resources, or in the so-called stability of earthly things. These do not come from the Father, but are of and from the world itself." So once again, whoever loves the world, the love of the Father and the love for the Father is not in that person. Why? Let's look at why. The Aramaic word for world is Lailamoa. It is spelled Lamed, Ayin, Lamed, Mem, Aleph. Lamed, picture of a staff, has to do with the leader and the teacher of the sheep. It has to do with steering the sheep. It talks about being yoked to, in this case, the wrong teacher. Then we have Ayin, picture of an eye, has to do with spiritual sight and vision. In this case, none. Has to do with watching and knowing. In this case, not watching, not knowing. It has to do with the Word and the Father's Ruach, those two things converging in your soul. In this case, not happening. Then we have Lamed once again, picture of a staff, pointing at the leader and teacher of the sheep, steering the sheep, being yoked to that leader, in this case, the wrong leader, the world, or, things like religion, things that are founded, have their foundation on the things of the world. Then we have Mem, picture of water. It points at the blood of Yeshua and the Word, because we are washed by the Word. It has to do with questioning things, and in this case especially, it has to do with chaos, because the world is full of darkness and confusion, i.e. chaos. Finally, we have Aleph, picture of an ox head. This has to do with Abba, Father, and Him being your headship. Picture of the ox always points about being yoked. And in this case, always with Aleph, we want to be yoked to and taught by Abba Father, that He steers us. We are yoked to Him, and we let Him lead the way. Now, in this word, it's talking about being yoked to the world and letting the world steer you and guide you and teach you, and going by things that please the world instead of things that please Abba Father. So, whoever loves the world, whoever loves Lailamoa, is obsessed with being taught, led, steered, and yoked to falsehoods and lies, the things of the world. The Father's Word and His Ruach are not converging in their souls. Their spiritual sight and vision is darkened and full of confusion and chaos. They are not saved by the blood of the Lamb, and they are not being taught by or yoked to Abba Father. And worst of all, they don't even know it because they are being deceived. In the book of John, chapter 12, verse 31, we read, "Now the judgment and the crisis of this world is coming. Sentence is now being passed on this world, and the ruler of this world, Satan, shall be cast out." That scripture has never been brighter than it is right now, because we are fast approaching the time, the day of Yahweh, where Satan will be cast out. The Amplified Bible refers to Satan as one of my all-time favorites, the evil genius. He's evil. He's a genius. He's also insane because he believes he is going to win. Only an insane mind could think that way. And the point is that Satan is the ruler of this world. It is his domain. But understand this. Many people misunderstand what the world means when they're reading the Word. They think it means, the planet Earth, the trees, the sunsets and sunrises, the flowers, the animals, birds, cars, families, jobs, their lives here, and so on. I don't know how many times I've heard people say, in terms of not loving the world, they're like, "Oh, geez, I love the sunsets, the trees, the animals." That's not what is being spoken of. It's talking about none of those things. This phrase, the world, is speaking of the worldly system that we are in here. That is, the doctrines and teachings of the world we live in. Doctrines and teachings which go against the Father's Word. Get it while you can. If it feels good, do it. Sex is like chocolate cake. It's a treat everyone deserves to enjoy. You have to have a college degree in order to find happiness and success. There's nothing wrong with being homosexual. Some people are just born that way. Those are all lies that contradict the Father's Word, and that yet these are common catchphrases in the world that many people believe to be sound and true. The world likes to say, "No pain, no gain," or "You have to work hard to get ahead in this world." But the Father's Word tells us in Psalm 127, "Unless Yahweh builds the house, he who labors in vain." In other words, bust your butt, and all you get is a busted butt. Unless Yahweh builds the house, unless you work things in your life with Abba Father, if you don't do that, then all you do is in vain and comes to nothing. The world loves to say that money is the root of all evil, but that is not what the Word says. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. The love of money is a root of all kinds of evils. So, money's not a bad thing. Money is not the root of all evil. It's not what the Father told us. What he told us is the love of money is a root. It's just one little root of all kinds of evils. So once again, when we read in English, whoever loves the world, it's talking about whoever loves, unknowingly or not, being taught, led, steered, and yoked to the falsehoods and the lies that come to us from the knowledge of the world. Whoever loves being in with the in crowd. Whoever loves pleasing people instead of pleasing Abba, Father, Yahweh. And when we read that they have not the love of Elohim in them, it means that the Father's word and his Ruach are not converging in their souls. Their spiritual sight and vision is darkened and full of confusion. It means that they are not saved by the blood of the Lamb, Yeshua, and that they are not being taught by or yoked to Abba Father. In fact, the converse, they're being taught by and yoked to the world. I often think about the lie, which is mentioned in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11. It says, because they refuse to love the truth, Elohim sends upon them a misleading influence, a working of error, a strong delusion to make them believe the lie. And, your Bible should say the lie or deception, not a. It's very specific there. And, I often wonder, what lie? The lie. What lie is that? A lot of people like to say, that the Antichrist, he claims to be Mashiach, Messiah, and they're going to believe that. Maybe, yeah. But perhaps the lie is that the world, Lilamoa, is what they want rather than the truth of Elohim. The lie, perhaps, being, and a lot of people have this mindset that this life is all there is. Oh, I believe in God, a lot of people say, but they've never seen him, and they act as though they really don't believe in Elohim. That they're just saying that because, I don't know, maybe the way they were raised or whatever, but that in fact and in a greater truth, they are believing the lie and, making a supposition that the lie is, this is all we get. When you die, it's all over with. You're just gone. This life is all there is. This world and what you can get out of it is all there is. That is the doctrine and the teaching that Satan delivers to everyone on earth. And a lot of people are there. They believe that. Look at when Satan tempted Yeshua for 40 days in the wilderness. What did Satan try and tempt Yeshua with? All the things of Lilamoa, all the things of the world, the worldly system, not the things Elohim created, but the things that Satan twisted and distorted and made filthy out of what Elohim created. To worship the creation instead of the Creator. Look at Matthew chapter 4, verses 8 through 10. The devil took Yeshua up on a very high mountain and showed him all the things, or rather, showed him all the kingdoms of the world. The glory, the splendor, the magnificence, the preeminence, and the excellence of them. And Satan said to Yeshua, these things all taken together, I will give you. If, now, notice that Yeshua didn't argue with that because he knew and knows that those things belong to Satan. He has the right to give them because he is the ruler of this world. Again, he said to Yeshua, I will give you all these things, all taken together, if you will prostrate yourself before me, if you will worship me. And how did Yeshua respond? With a short sword meant for close battle. The word, he quoted the word to him. Yeshua said to him, be gone, Shatan. For it has been written, you shall worship Yahweh, your Elohim, and him alone shall you serve. So, religions, they're of the world. The word is not of the world. The word is from Abba, Father, Yahweh. Religions are from and worship the world, even though they talk about the Father and Messiah, and, they read from the Word, all the stuff under that, the foundation underneath all of that stuff is the world. They're a 501c3 corporation, and managing their money and trying to collect money and operating it all as a business. Whatever. Not going to go too much into the details of that. It's just that all the religions in the world, I've never seen one that doesn't fall into that category of worshiping the world and the things of the world more than worshiping Abba, Father, Yahweh. In Revelation chapter 2, verse 6, we read, Yeshua is speaking, you have this in your favor and to your credit. You hate the works of the Nicolaitans, what they are doing as corrupters of the people, which I myself also hate. What was it that Yeshua hates about the Nicolaitans? It is that they put themselves above the flock. I'm the pastor of the church, you're not. I know. I don't know how many people have told me that they went to their pastor, their priest, or, whomever, and asked them a question, maybe about the Father's name, or about something in the book of Revelation. And they were just given a cold shoulder that, you don't know what you're talking about, you can't ask me a question. Who do you think you are? You're lower than me. That is what Yeshua hates about the Nicolaitans, and of course about anyone. And again, religions have that Nicolaitan attitude. Doctors do that too. Try and ask your doctor a question. He's like, You don't have a right to, you just do what I tell you to do. You don't know enough to discuss anything with me. I'm the doctor, you're the idiot. That's the spirit of the Nicolaitans. That's a spirit that Yeshua and Abba Father hate. Languages are of the world. The Father's original odiote are not. The odiote revealed to us how all languages have added to and have taken away from his word. He commands in his word, you do not add to or take away from my word. Why would he even mention that? Because he knew that it would happen. You take his word, which was originally penned in the ancient pictographic odiote letter forms. Boy, oh boy, he knew what he was doing, because you cannot distort those letter forms. You can't make them into abstract ideas without lying. You can't mess around with them. But, the letter forms were changed into first the Paleo Hebrew, and then later into modern Hebrew. And, even today with the modern Hebrew, they still teach that, Aleph is a picture of an ox head, Beit is a picture of a house, and so on and so forth. But it's buried under the doctrines of the world. It's buried under a blanket of chaos and confusion, because even though they still admit those facts that come out of the pictographic odiote, they bury it and they hide it underneath language, dictionaries. Oh, this word means this, that, and the other thing. And I'm not saying to dispel all of that, because a lot of times it's pretty cool. They're describing the understanding that people had about a particular word in the Aramaic Hebrew, and there is some benefit from that. But when you take that word, whatever it is, and look at the letter forms that spell it, and refer to the ancient pictographic letter forms and their meanings, then you see the truth about that word that the Father gave. And you look at the dictionary definitions and you go, boy, this man they added stuff to this word. They took things away from this word. And in fact, all of the great truths that are revealed to us through each letter, each oat in that word, are hidden, not revealed. And this is all due to the world. Now, some people get angry. It's like, what are you teaching, Hebrew for? We all speak English here, blah, blah, blah. Those people have never watched more than 5 seconds of any one of my videos. But they get angry. Why? Because I'm threatening their comfort zone. And, they've gathered all of these ideas and things and put them in a box. This is how everything is. Don't mess with that. You'll scare me. This is how I figure it all is. And then, you look at the odiote and you start bringing out the truth about his word, and they refuse to love the truth. They don't want to hear it. It's upsetting their comfort zone. 2 Thessalonians 2:11. They refuse to love the truth. Instead, they are in love with the world. What they've gathered from the doctrines of the world. And so the love of the Father and the love for the Father is not in them. They just, I don't know, they don't want to upset their own apple cart. They refuse to love the truth. And you know, it always comes down to fear. The devil uses fear, and a lot of religions use fear. If you don't belong to this religion, you're not going to make it. Fear, and people lock on to a particular religion out of fear, and that fear causes them to refuse to love the truth because they're afraid. They're scared. They're full of fear about the light being shined on their darkness. So, those who love the world have not the love of the Father and have not the love for the Father in them. And they are refusing to love the truth. And because of that, the Father, the Son, the Ruach, Elohim, delivers them a strong delusion, a great misunderstanding, so that they will believe the lie, so that they'll be swept into the tribulation and the misery of those 7 years, and hopefully see how wrong they were, and hopefully get a hunger, an insatiable appetite to know the truth, His Word, and those will be the ones that are saved. And there's a great multitude, a great number that are saved during the tribulation period. But no one who knows any better wants to be a part of those 7 years. That is going to be a time on earth like no time in all the history of the earth. It is going to be horrible. It is going to be devastating. It's going to be crazier than the craziest science fiction movie you ever dreamed up. You don't want to go through that. And the way to avoid that is to pray and ask the Father to count you as worthy to escape those things. To pray and ask the Father to teach you how He pitches His tent with you and how you are to pitch your tent with Him. To make Yeshua, His beloved Bane, your master, your Adon. And that is our study for this week, my friends. As always, I hope and I pray that this study is a beracha to you and yours. Abba willing, I'll see you here again next week. And until then, shalom, my friends.
Now 2,000 years have gone by, it's another working day. Some would rather let it lie, but the question still remains.